I heard an interesting statistic when we talk about strategizing and filling our calendar and taking our time seriously. If there's nothing there, if it's just a gap, then we aren't doing a good enough job at filling our inventory. What activities can I pull from to do more of this year? And what that allowed me to do was year over year, just continue to compound my efforts.
Matt Weaver, the #1 mortgage originator in the United States for most loans closed in 2023 and #1 in the state of Florida from 2020 to present, has spent over 27 years mastering the purchase market, earning more than 16 #1 titles across his career. Max Fisch, 2024's #1 originator in the United States under 30 and #2 in the state of Florida, achieved those titles within just 5 years of entering the mortgage industry, compressing decades of growth into a few extraordinary years. Collectively, they've helped more than 40,000 families purchase their first home. Now partners and looking to improve the industry on a national scale, Matt and Max share their winning formula, team structure and systems with originators who want to scale from elite to extraordinary levels.
What if I told you that I started in this industry just over 6 years ago? And within those 6 years, I've had the great fortune of helping thousands of people become homeowners and finance their homes. It's been an incredible journey. And as I reflect back on the last 6 years and hopefully many more, one thing sticks out to me that I want to share with you all today. You see, early on in my professional career, I knew that my calendar would reveal what my strategy is. And so about a year in to my time as a loan originator, I looked at my calendar and I looked back at the last 12 months. And what it did was it started to reveal what my strategy was. What activities was I filling my calendar with? And you know what's interesting? Even if there are gaps in your calendar, that's also revealing your strategy. We call those gaps in your calendar inventory. If there's nothing there, if it's just a gap, then we aren't doing a good enough job at filling our inventory. And so what I found was after a year, and I would do this on an annual basis, what I found is that I wasn't doing a good enough job at filling my inventory. Napoleon Hill once said, "Live life by design and not by default." He was talking about time management. And it's so interesting because how many of us live by default rather than by design? Defense versus offense. And so a year into my journey, I look back and I realized that I was living by default. Every day I woke up and I was thinking to myself, well, hopefully my phone rings. And I was doing that too often. So what I decided to do is I decided to strategize, look at my calendar and develop a strategy. Because what my calendar for the last 12 months at that time showed me wasn't just that I wasn't filling my inventory, but it was showing me what activities I was filling my inventory with. So as I audited my time for that first year, I thought to myself, okay, which activities am I doing? And what are the activities that are MMAs, money-making activities, and that are helping my business grow and scale? I said this coming year, I'm going to fill my calendar and fill my inventory with more of those activities. For me, for example, it was meeting with real estate agents face to face. I had my highest level of conversion when I was doing those activities. I heard an interesting statistic when we talk about strategizing and filling our calendar and taking our time seriously. It was that if you wasted 1 hour a day, 1 hour a day, you would be wasting 9 work weeks. If you added up 1 hour a day for an entire year, it would equate to 9 40-hour work weeks. Which, if we think about it, how many of us are guilty of wasting 1 hour a day and not counting every single minute and putting a minute to an activity. You see, what I realized is the most successful people in this industry and beyond paid attention to every single minute. Every minute had a place. And so as I audited my calendar and I audited my time, I filled my time with more of those activities, but not just winging it. As you know how we do things here on a team structure and through our F13 consulting, everything is scripted. A calendar is a script. So was every minute accounted for? Were we being intentional about our activity? So for that next year, I filled my inventory just a little bit more. After that year, I looked back and I said, what activities can I pull from to do more of this year? And what that allowed me to do was year over year, just continue to compound my efforts so that by year 4 or 5, I was only doing activities that worked, that I had a high rate of conversion with. And you see, I feel as if in the origination space, that's missing because what our industry attracts is the idea of winging it. What I see is most originators wing their day. Their day is by default. The day happens to them instead of them happening to it. And when we understand these concepts and when we understand how important our calendar is and how we spend our time, we can then understand where our business is at today, okay? What activities have gotten it there? What activities I can delete, okay? And then I can take those activities and fill my inventory. And it doesn't have to be for years at a time. It could be 30, it could be 60, it could be 120 days, 180 days. The more we audit our time in our calendar, the more successful and transparent our business is going to be. And so when we think about time, okay, we'd be remiss to not discuss the fact that time, okay, is important to our business, but it's important what we're doing with our time, okay? And being able to, and this is the bad D word, okay, of business, being able to delegate certain activities to other capable human beings within our team structure. You hear often Matt and I talk about our team structure here, okay, and we share with our great F13 members the same team structure. And the team structure is completely built around people staying in their lanes, okay, and performing at a high level, reaching self-actualization, as we talked about in a previous episode. But all of that first starts with understanding what should we be spending our time on to scale our business and what should we be delegating, okay? That's important for us to know. Now, how do we know that? Well, we have to audit our time first. We have to understand what we're spending our time doing. Then we can lay all the pieces of the puzzle out on the table and start to piece the pieces together. Okay? That's an important aspect when scaling your origination team and your origination business. It is one of the most important, but oftentimes the most overlooked, which is our schedule. What are we doing with our schedule? Okay? And who are we delegating tasks to free up more inventory for us to perform and conduct more money-making activities for our own business. So here's a story for you, okay? As I mentioned, I started out about 6 years ago, okay? I was a sole practitioner. As Matt calls it, I was working in the pizzeria and I was taking the orders for the pizza, I was making the pizza, I was serving the pizza, I was delivering the pizza, I was doing the accounting, I was doing everything for the pizzeria. But what really started to happen, and it goes hand in hand, what really started to happen was I started to understand where my time was best used. Now, that didn't mean that the other jobs and functions within the pizzeria didn't still need to happen. But I understood what lane I needed to be in and where my business could scale if I spent just a little bit more time on those individual practices. And so what I did is I started to build a team. I started to build a team, which was very important for our growth. Now, as a leader, we need to continue to audit our time, audit the time of others that are within our team structure, but put them in the best position to win and put them in the best function within that pizzeria. But that would have never happened if we didn't take the time to look back on our activity level, what we were spending our activities on, and then implement a strategy from there. So, my challenge to you is to look at your calendar, see what your strategy is. Is your strategy intentional or is it just by default? And build a plan moving forward centered around the activities that you should be doing to scale your business and developing a strategy to delegate the other activities to others within your team structure. It's the only way to scale, and not just scale, but scale quickly, as I was blessed enough to do within my own practice. Because early on, I noticed and made it a point to always remind myself that my calendar revealed my strategy. Thank you so much.